Oh my goodness. You guys would not believe what happened to me. Um, I'll tell you in a minute. Good morning, everyone. Glad that you are here on this fine Saturday morning. Um, yeah, today kind of snuck up on me, but hopefully the everything is going to work out correctly. If you see me kind of scattering around a little bit here, it's because, well, I'm still having to make a little few adjustments here and there. Like right now, I'm actually trying to figure out why one of the cameras won't go on. And I think I figured it out. I hope I figured it out. And if not, we will make a quick pivot anyway. How's everyone this morning? Hope you guys are having a fine day. Let's see who's here. Let's see. It's Miss Joanna Pitfield. You are the early bird this morning. Hello, Miss Katie. How is Greenland? Hope it's not terribly freezing. Or maybe that's a good thing with global warming and everything. Nah. Let's see. We got Maria Nunez is here. Christy is here. Hello, hello. Made by Misty. Hello, hello. Let's see. Hi, Linda. And Chris Montour is here. Yay, you caught alive. Let's see. Sorry, I just stepped out of a very hot shower, and there's a reason why. And I will tell you, it's just been one heck of a morning. But you know what? C'est la vie. I'm here. Good morning, Suzanne. Joanna says there's snow. You're very lucky. Oh, you're very soft too. Okay. Sorry about that. The microphone was a little bit out of place. So is that better? Well, maybe I should just wear the microphone up here. I'm always worried that if I put it on a lanyard like this, did the microphone go off? No, it's on. Okay. I'm always worried that if I wherever I place this microphone, like I could hold it like this and it could probably be very loud right near, but yeah. See, if I hold the microphone like this, then you can hear me loud and clear, but I can't be doing that and working at the same time. And the volume is maxed out already, so I guess I just have to shout and scream at everybody. But try and check the mic settings or your sound settings on your phone or whatever device you're listening to, because it's hitting, on my end, I'm seeing that it's hitting red, which is not good. It technically should be blowing out your ears, but okay. Let's see. I'm just getting ready to do the activity for today, which is we're getting ready for Valentine's Day. Let me check one other thing. Maybe it's this. Properties. Okay, microphone is. Maybe that'll be better. Okay, it's a little better. Do-do-do. Okay, so what happened this morning that I'm all kind of flabbergasted about? Well, there's a plumbing issue in this apartment in which somebody, don't want to point fingers, but somebody is Well, we keep telling them not to do this and they keep doing it anyway. You know, after you fry something, it's not a good idea to be dumping that used oil down the drain. Guess what they're doing? They're dumping it down the drain. And since they're on the second floor and I'm beneath them, it affects the plumbing in my kitchen. So this morning I come to wake up to a full kitchen sink full of just, yeah, you can imagine what it was full of. It was water, but inside the water was very special gifts. Let's just keep it that way. So I had to get out the plunger and kind of plunge the water down, and which it's gone down, but it's like slowly going down. So I said, okay. Then I was going through all the crafting supplies for today. Mind you, it's the supplies, not the actual food items. And I say that because what I'm about to tell you might gross you out. I pull out the box and the container that has all of the supplies that I was planning to use today. And lo and behold, I have a roommate. It's about that big, brown, and it was okay. I hope the sound is back on because I can see the mic growing. Okay. Okay. You said it was brown, then nothing. Okay. So went into my crafting supplies. I found out that I have a roommate who's been living in there for quite some time. She is pregnant, or she was pregnant. It was brown, about that big, had 8 legs, and oh my gosh, she had wings. If you guessed it, yeah, it was a roach. So apparently she had wings and she flew right on my face, which freaked me out. And of course, I slapped myself silly because trying to swat her away. Um, yeah, that's what happened. And of course, I felt all gross, and I threw those crafting supplies out. I mean, it was just ribbons and paper containers, so I knew I had extra, but I'm not using it for this project because there is food involved with this. And I promise I bought these last night, so I know they're not infected. But yeah, so I kind of chased her down, chased her out, got a tissue, and kind of gave her a little memorial down the toilet. But I felt all gross after that, and I just jumped in the shower real quick and didn't realize how high the water was. And so now I'm kind of sweating. So, yeah, that was my morning with the plumbing issues and the unexpected roommate showing up. So, hi. And now I have a camera issue because this camera doesn't want to work. Um, Hang on for 1 second. Let me see if this fixes the problem. Maybe not. Okay, that didn't want to work. It was working earlier. That's the problem with these cameras. Sometimes they just don't want to work. Okay, so we will take that camera and then just kind of tilt it down, which will work fine. Or it should work fine. Why is it not working all of a sudden? You know, these technical things have a mind of their own. Okay, we're gonna just quickly reset it then. See if that'll work. Sorry about this, guys. It was working fine. Then everything kind of happened. Sometimes the good old unplug and reset does the trick. Let's see if it does it this time. Maybe not. Okay. We'll worry about that later. And we'll see if it comes on. So I am going to be, let's see, maintenance needs to snake the pipes at minimum, go through that every 6 months. So guy upstairs is big on rice. Okay. Yeah, he's big on fried foods. So it's been about well, this isn't a new problem. It's happened before, which is why we know exactly who the culprit is this time, or we're kind of making the assumption that it is the same person because, well, there's only me and the person upstairs. But this isn't the first time he's done it, and he's deliberately not followed the rules before. And I see the warning messages coming from building management, and they're all saying the same thing. Hey, you can't be pouring grease down the pipes. So I don't know. I might have to report this situation again, and we'll see what happens. But I think the last time they did not penalize him, but this time they might. And when this company wants to penalize somebody, oh, it is a hefty, hefty fine because they don't play. Even in the parking lot, like right now, we have a problem with people outside the building or who are not residents in the building. They're parking in our lot, and we've been complaining about that. And so now they're taking action on it. And they just, this morning, a car was towed away because we found out that this person lives in the complex next door and he didn't want to pay their parking fine. So he parks in our lot and walks over, and he's going to get, well, they towed his car for that. And there are signs posted up all over, and everybody knows his car. So management, we pointed it out to the management company. Management company put a sheet of paper on there. Even the security guard actually verbally warned the person not to park there anymore. He still did it anyway. So his nice Mercedes is being towed, or was towed this morning. And so I was right before I came on and right before all of this disaster happened, I was watching because the guy was complaining. Actually, I woke up because the guy was complaining. Yeah, they towed his car early this morning. Okay. So lucky I have great neighbors means a lot. Yes. Yes, having good neighbors means more than you can ever really realize until you get a bad one. and you certainly then start to appreciate the good ones. And why did this phone die? Is it plugged in? Should be. Maybe it's not plugged in. Maybe that's why it's not picking up. Hang on 1 second. This, there. That's why. That's why it didn't work. It wasn't plugged in. Okay, webcam. Here we go. Now you can kind of see what I'm doing, I hope. In a moment. Or it should pop up any minute now. Still takes a while for it to show up. Is that the right one? Okay, well, we'll see when it shows up. But so that was my very eventful morning. Yep. Going to cost more in fines than parking fine fees. Yeah. I mean, they only fined him $25, but now I'm guessing that that toll is going to be on his dime. And I don't know what toll fees are across the country, but they're pretty steep here. I think for every 10 miles, it's what? Oh, actually, I do know because I had to pay the toll. And that cost me $250 for 10 miles. Yeah, I was on my way to Tiffany's once and my tire blew out. So I did have to call a tow truck to get towed back in. Fortunately, I was still within city limits. And I didn't reach the high desert out there. So yeah. Ooh. Okay, so let's see if the camera picked up now. It should be on. And it's still not. Still not. Why are you not working? Do, 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 do. Okay, let's just tilt this camera down and we'll tilt it down onto the workspace here. Whoops. And of course, as soon as I do that, it flops. So sorry for the camera movement. Let's see what is holding it there. Okay, that's not too bad. We'll shift it a little bit more that way. Okay. So I got a bunch of Hershey's bars. Snickers is my personal favorite there. And then I got a Hershey's Reese's bag here. I found a ton of these chocolates and a bunch of these Kit Kats, and we're gonna put this all together here. And I'll make one so you can kind of see what I have to make a number of these for different people. And of course, everybody has their favorite candy bar. So I just said, okay, we'll just buy all three and you guys can just eat your favorites, but you'll have a variety. Because I was not going to buy just all one sort of candy. Let's see here. Okay. I bought a Pringles because I kind of thought, well, this person did request Pringles in the package, so I'll include it somehow, but it might not be, it might just be something on the side, as well as coffee here. So one thing, if you've never made a candy or any kind of basket of any sort, a gift basket, you always need a base. Now, the base can be any container. Doesn't matter how big, well, it kind of does matter how big it is, but it could be something small, could be something big. It just depends on the size of it, just kind of depends on what you put in it and the amount of stuff that you are going to put in it. So this person, if you can't tell, is a coffee lover. So I got these mugs at the Dollar Tree. It says, all you need is love and coffee. So yeah, and it was red too. There's different colors of them. But I'm just going to put that like that. And then right. And one of the tricks to making or elevating a gift basket that I like to use is just to use tissue paper to kind of wrap things. Well, it actually serves dual purpose. In this case, it's actually gonna, in one way, kind of protect items, and in another way, it'll act as a decorative element. So how am I gonna do this one? I'm just gonna fold it like that. And it's actually a great way to sort of like make a space filler to make it look full. So I'll stick that in there and I will dunk that in there. We'll kind of flare the tissue out. And why am I getting notifications on this computer? That's one thing that's just totally irritating. So we got that going on. I can stick certain candy bars in the back of it. Of course I could, I'm not like securing anything down just yet. I'm just kind of seeing or planning it out where I can place certain items. And then I will be wrapping up the sticks in some floral tape just to kind of hide it a little better. But we'll do those. I also do have a little, isn't that cute, little plushie. Well, it's well, obviously it's supposed to be a teddy bear, but it kind of looks, it has the face of a dog, in my opinion. So I could do something like, instead of these in the back, I could do this guy in the back. We'll have to kind of figure out how he's going to get propped up. Then these can go here in the front. Well, let me just break one in half to see how that'll work. I think that I like that. And then let's see how I will prop this on here. I'll use this ribbon, although it's Christmas ribbon, to prop him up. Something like that. I think I'll go with that. Whew. Okay, so I will cut these down to size, or actually I'll just snap them off. That'll work. Whoops, that one came slightly off. We already got a Hershey's, so let's do some kisses. And I am gonna cut we'll cut a tissue. Cut that down into squares. Hi, Brenda. And I will wrap that down, wrapping it. Took a little piece of chocolate, wrapped it down. I will stick or put, I should have actually put the stick in first. We'll wrap this around. We'll grab a decent sized piece of tape here, and I'm just gonna wrap it around just to secure it in place. Okay. And out of the rest of this tissue, I'm actually gonna just make a rosebud. Get the start of the rose. Maybe this one's too short, so I'll take the other one. I'll just fold it in half. Here's the start of the rose. I just kind of made a triangle there. And we'll just kind of roll up and bunch up the tissue and start shaping our rose. This was something, gosh, how long have I known how to do this particular rose? We learned this in 3rd grade. So something that's easily done. Doesn't have to be perfect, but even if it's not perfect, it's still kind of pretty. So now we'll take the chocolate and now run the stick all the way down through. If it doesn't fit, you can unwind it a little bit, which is what I'm doing here. And as long as it still has that rose shape, you should still be able, even if you unwind it, you should still be able to reshape it. There we go. Good morning, Wisconsin. Hope you are staying warm. There we go. Now, 2020 hindsight, maybe I should have actually used a different color tissue paper for the center, but that'll work. And now, where is my floral tape? Here it is. And I will wrap this in floral tape now. And this may not be the best floral tape because I don't feel the glue, but it'll do its job, hopefully. And I can always wrap this She says she's bunkered in her sewing room with the space heater. Good idea. That sounds like a fine Saturday to me. Okay. See you, Mona. And there we go. We got our first one done. It's kind of unraveling. I guess I need to buy some new floral tape, but this will hold. It'll hold for the time being. That was not a good break. So let me kind of rewrap it here, because this is the spot where it's kind of undoing or coming undone. Whoops. So what is everybody's plans for Valentine's Day today, or this coming Valentine's? Anything special going on? Um, are you planning to do anything special? There we go. Or should I ask, tomorrow for the big game, who are we rooting for? Is it New England or is it going to be Seattle? It is Seattle playing, right? I hope so. Tells you how much I pay attention to football. All right. So we'll put that one here. Do I have another color? Oh, I have a red. Let's do the red. But we'll do a Hershey's Kiss this time. Actually, for a Hershey's Kiss, because they're so small, I don't need this size. Seahawks all the way. All right, Misty. 16 years ago on February 14th, Nico asked me to marry him. He's at sea, so celebration will have to wait. Aww. On Valentine's Day. Um, Jay Murphy says, right now I'm finishing a Valentine's wall hanging that I started 2 years ago. At least I'll be able to hang it before this holiday. Okay. Okay, I think I want to put more tape on this one. Okay, so yes, happy anniversary, Katie. That is so awesome. On Valentine's Day, well, Valentine's Day is kind of, well, it's also my niece's birthday. She was actually born on Valentine's Day in 97, was it? 97 or 98, I forget which one, what year it is. But so I do have to call her to remind her that she is coming ever so closely to the big 3-0. She's not 30 yet, but she's been dreading it. She's like, she keeps asking me, what's, Uncle, what is turning 30 like? And I'm like, well, it's just another year. Oh, but I'm going to be ancient. I'm like, if you think you're ancient at 30, what the heck does that make me? Um, we had been friends for 11 years before that. Wow. So wait, how long have you and Nico been together altogether? Like not just married, but friends, dating for 11 years. Wow. Because it's one thing to have a wedding anniversary. It's another thing to have a relationship anniversary. Because even after you get married, sometimes the marriage can go south. So, well, of course, that's a heck of a thing for me to say right now, but still, I some people say they've been married 5 years, but they've been together for 15, which I think is remarkable. Of course, it kind of makes me wonder why did they wait so long to get married, but then I kind of get it. Sometimes marriage, well, it does something to the relationship. Yeah. 26 years altogether. Wow. You know, in this day and age, with the amount of people who get married and then divorce 2 days later, that's quite a miracle. Well, would you guys agree? I'm looking at the camera and talking to it like you guys can see me. I forget that it's pointed downward. 26 years we have known each other, then 16 since the proposal, 15 years of marriage. Wow. Congratulations. There's the second flower. Oh, why won't this camera work? Sorry, I'm still trying to figure out why this camera all of a sudden shut itself off. Let's see. On Valentine's Day, I will be married 51 years. Wow, congratulations, Cindy. That is awesome. I can't imagine being married or being with someone for over 50 years. My grandparents were. Um, I think they were together 60 years before my grandfather finally passed. Yeah. I wish I could, well, yeah, I could say that. But I can't say that. And problem number one is I have to find someone first before I can even start that journey. Okay, let's do one last one, which is a Lindor's chocolate here. We shall do purple, lavender. Lavender and, well, that looks a little too much like it's going to be Easter, which Easter is coming up too. So, okay, we'll do lavender with a lavender rose with a pink center. How's that? No, maybe I should do lavender and red. I don't want to make this one too big though. So we'll cut it lavender and pink, or whoops, I got tissue falling down all over the place. Or maybe we'll do the, no, I already got a red rose. We'll do lavender and red. Okay. Notice I'm not measuring anything, by the way. I'm just kind of eyeballing stuff. So this is one of those things where you can just kind of eyeball it, and close enough is good enough. Okay, this ought to be interesting. Whoops. I'm wondering, does anybody else make, does anyone, or has anyone else made a candy bouquet like this before? Or am I the only one that does this? Of course, I'm doing this as a favor to friends. Friends being male friends who don't have the crafting, or they say they don't have the artistic thumb, and yet they're woodworkers, they're painters. They just don't want to do this. They rather pay somebody else to do it. Mind you, the agreement was that they just paid me, or they just bought whatever they needed, or whatever candies they thought that their partner would like. And I said, just buy a bag and we'll get a mixture. And they just paid me for the supplies. And I figured I can do this on a live, so that's payment for the labor. You know, this combination actually looks really good. Hello, Mary. Eric, I'm supposed to tell you Marty has pink hair. Oh gosh, did she go back to pink? Oh my goodness. How long did she went natural for a very long period, and then now she's starting to dye it again. Her hair, I swear, it must be so thin and dry. But you know what? When it's colored correctly, it looks really fabulous. Okay. Why am I taping this part down? I usually don't do this. Okay. Green floral tape. So for those of you who don't know, Miss Kevmirth there, she is one of our, we met on Zoom, and sometimes her daughter walks in, and her daughter is, as you know, Marty by now. And it used to be where every time we were on Zoom, and every time Marty walked in, she had a different, she dyed her hair different colors. So once it was pink, it was also lavender, also kind of a greenish teal color, I remember. And so the running joke is, I would always ask, so what's Marty's hair color now? And for the longest time, she wasn't dyeing her hair. She just went naturally blonde. And you can kind of imagine what kind of damage that does to her hair. So she was, I remember once that she was telling us that, yeah, I'm just letting it heal. So she wasn't dyeing her hair for a while, and then now suddenly she's dyeing her hair again. Hello, Miss Heidi. Whoops. Okay. Sometimes floral tape will do that to you. It'll break midway through. So trick with floral tape is you do have to kind of stretch it out a little just to activate the adhesive. Now the good thing is when it breaks, you just have to kind of cover it up with another piece. Stretch and wrap, stretch and wrap. The bad thing is sometimes you pull on it too hard and it breaks. The other bad thing is all of that goo kind of gets on your fingers, but that's a minor inconvenience. Easy to wash off, not like the residue that you sometimes get on your sewing needle when you're doing, or when you use glue, regular glue. You know, all that gunk that just builds up on your needle, not good for the machine. Okay, I think that's good enough. And then we can open that flower up a little more. And I will trim off that little, round out that little point there. And the tape is unwinding there. Okay, I'm going to put it right up in the front, so I'm going to cut it right about here. Or I can just break it off. Ain't that something? Okay, and we will do, I know I wanted this one. Let's see, how does that look? Can fold this down a little bit. Being a cosmetologist, she can't leave her hair and nails done. Oh, she can't leave her nails done alone. Oh, wait, no. Being a cosmetologist, she can't leave her hair and nails alone. Okay, let's see. That'll work somewhat, but then now you can't really see that there's a package behind here. So let me kind of prop it up a little more, just a little bit, and fold it down so you can kind of see the bear, or what's supposed to be a bear. It's an animal. Let's just put it that way. There we go. Okay, then I will take pieces of this ribbon and put it out front. I'll sneak it somewhere here. Now this ribbon is more functional, not decorative, just so that I can secure the bear on here. And that he'll hold up there. Actually, I should have just used twine, but the ribbon is what I saw here, so I used the ribbon. Kind of like he's peeking out. And then now we can go with the more decorative elements of things. So let's take these flowers, since I got them, or these heart flowers. And I will take, I'll take a few of these. See how this looks. Whoop, that just came right off. Ooh. Looks great, looks pretty. Thank you, thank you. Let's see, I'm looking through the camera here, so I will put that one there. I should have actually cut these a little longer, but that's okay. We will make it work. These hearts are just fillers, just to fill in the empty gaps and to make it look full. They're not filled with chocolate or anything. There. You know, it's amazing. I was at Walmart the other night and I saw one of their put together bouquets. I mean, of course, it didn't have the roses like this or anything. It just had chocolate box. The base was actually made out of box chocolates like this. There was 4 of them, so they kind of built like 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of built a handle, and then the top was just, I mean, they didn't have wrapped candies like this, but they did have something. It cost $35 at Walmart, and I'm like, guys, come on, well, it's mostly labor that you're paying for, because it's not like the candies were like gourmet candies. They were basically Hershey's Kisses, although some of you might argue a Hershey's Kiss is gourmet. I wouldn't disagree with you on that, but still, I kind of thought, wow, I could go into business doing this. And actually, I know I could, because people are asking me to do it. And I think they're only asking me to do it because I'm doing it for free. Well, not exactly. They pay for the candies, but although you can't really see the candies now, I'm gonna stick that one there. Or maybe I should put it there. I'll grab another candy. I'll grab a Kit Kat. And, you know, doing these is not hard. Um, as long as you know the basics, you need a good base, which I'm using the mug down here. And even if you don't know the crafting part of this, where you don't know how to make these flowers, I mean, just doing a simple, take a candy, wrap it, and then put it on a barbecue skewer. That's what these are. You can use craft sticks if you wanted to. And just looking at things and just kind of placing it somewhere. The other thing, and this is what I actually, now that I think about it, I should have done it this way. I just take a piece of tape before I wrap the candy onto with the tissue paper. I'll take the barbecue skewer to the back of the candy and then wrap it down. We'll tie it or twist the tissue paper around the candy, and I'll put a piece of tape around and start kind of securing it down. I mean, it's not difficult to do. So I got a number of these to do, so which is why I have all of this whole bunch of candy. So I'll be spending more of my time just kind of prepping everything. But, you know, to put it together, it's not difficult. Of course, as many people would say, it's they would make the excuse, and I do say excuse, to just have somebody else do it for them. But I mean, if they want to save a couple of bucks, then they should kind of make it on their own. All right. So while I'm doing this, let me give some housekeeping reminders that today is our Zoom call for the month of February. And if you were, or if you've watched the February video newsletter that I released earlier this week, you know that there is a second Zoom coming up later on this month. So you can look forward to that. If you want to join in on the Zoom, you can still send me the email at treasureheartcreations@gmail.com. We'll get you started with it. It's going to be starting in about 2 hours from now, which will be 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So you can still join us for today, but if you're not able to join us today, there's always that second Zoom coming up later on this month again. And we have a heck of a good time. And a few of the participants are actually here today. Come out from out of the closet, Heidi and Mary. I haven't seen Kim today, but she's usually on, as well as Miss Carissa. And we have a ball of a good time talking about fish farts and whatever else our mind or our creative minds take us. Joanna is usually on as well. Sorry, guys. I hope you guys don't mind me calling you out like that. I should have asked. Barb McKinley is also another one, and she's saying my machine is getting service, so I may be knitting with you. Well, okay, that's fine. Don't a lot of us don't do, or a lot of us will sew and chat, but some of us, as Barbara said, we're just sitting and chatting, or we're doing another craft in which I'll be continuing on with this on the Zoom. Nobody puts Heidi in the closet. I like to hide under the bed. Okay. Yeah. Remnants of Dirty Dancing. Eric has great zooms. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Miss Mary. Yeah, we always have fun on Zoom. Okay. Other thing I can mention is the first video on the quilting math series. Um, it is coming out next week. I can't guarantee, or I can't really say specifically what day, because right now my other computer is having an issue. And so I'm almost done editing that video, but I'm having all sorts of technical issues. So I have to kind of put that, well, that computer is having its own spa day. It's in the repair shop, and the repairman said that, yeah, editing videos has really put a burden on that particular machine. So he's replacing some of the graphic cards and some of the, they call it RAM, but it's basically the memory, the brain, or the memory cards for the computer, because it got warped. Let's just put it that way. So that's costing me a pretty penny. And I'm like, is it time for me to just get another computer and retire that one? Although that computer, I got it, when did I get that? I got it during COVID. So about 3-4 years ago. That was my stimulus money. That's where it went. So while most people were using their stimulus money on food and rent, I used it to buy that computer. It still stimulated the economy. And Heidi says, it's always fun to see where other people's creativity leads them. I might not go to the same route, but I am frequently inspired. Well, thank you, Heidi. Hey, hey, Heather. That is Heather, the debt-free quilter. How you doing, girl? Hope everything is going good. Okay, if you guys don't know her, that is Heather. She runs a YouTube channel called The Debt Free Quilter. Um, every so often, I kind of pop in on one of her videos or watch one of her live sessions. I'm usually kind of lurking in the background because I don't want to distract everyone's attention away from her. But she does a lot of quilting related tutorials as well. Some of her quilts, I gotta say, look really good. RAM is like short-term memory. SSD or HD are for long-term storage. What I've added to the recipe so far versus how to peel a potato. Yeah, he said that it's actually the RAM and the HDD. The RAM has been totally fried because, again, I was using that computer to run or do some video editing, in which he wasn't surprised with the RAM. Every so often, he does get computers like that from commercial video editors where the RAM is just totally gone. That can be easily remedied. It's the hard drive, the hard disk drives, and the SDD. Yeah, that's where he was kind of shocked that the amount of damage that was on those two. And I told him, yeah, I haven't had the computer serviced in a while. Well, actually, that was the first time. And he's like, okay, that explains why. So, I don't know, can I add more? I'm of the type where I say I add everything and then edit out. Some people don't add enough, I think. And then when somebody tells them, no, you can do more, then they start putting more and then they put too much. So, different train of thought. Okay. I hope your PC guy also beefs up the cooling. Newer graphic cards can put a lot of heat. Yeah, he did look at that. Um, he well, he asked me if I wanted to put like they have these systems that are basically air conditioning systems for the PC. He asked me if I wanted to do that, and I asked him his honest opinion. Do I really need to have that? He said, on one hand, yes, because we are here in the desert. So if I'm running my computer on a hot day, it can overheat. But he also said, I'm not using the computer to do things like gaming and running it for 8 hours at a time. So it might not be necessary. But he did the fans for the PC are working fine. He just said that if you have the AC on and while you're working, in which most of us here in southern Nevada will do that during the summer because nobody can live without an air conditioning here, that should be sufficient enough. Just make um, just be aware of where the temperature is, in which he taught me how to pull up the stats. So I was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't know you could do that. Okay. Mm, I don't know what else I can put on here. And this is where I start to get the critical eye, but I think we're done with this one. Yep, we're done, I think. Maybe I can sneak something out here. Nope, that won't work. Okay, we're done. I can tuck that there. We are done with this one. So I'll put a picture of the final thing with the bow wrapped up in the plastic bag later on. All right, one down. Only 14 more to go. We'll toss this one on this, put this one on the side. Okay, this one. Okay, this will be a little bit taller. I wanted to experiment to see if I could actually even pull this off. So I got floral foam here. And let's see, is this tall enough? No. So just as I thought. Okay, these bags are a little bit taller, so I could do, yeah, that's not gonna work. So I'm gonna need to actually put some really tall, yeah, this is really gonna have to be tall. So I'll put the floor foam in there, but I'm gonna have to double these to make it work. In which I'm just gonna take 2 of the skewers and put tape on it. Tape it together. Use that for the Pringles. I think I will. Or actually, I want the person to actually see the Pringles too. So I might, instead of putting the Pringles for this bag, I might use a clear bag. But this this is kind of more of an experiment. I wanted to see if I could actually do this. You, and when I say do this, I mean use a paper bag like this to actually make one of these. And if it works, then I'll use it. But if it doesn't work, then I can always take it apart and use the parts for something else, and I'll use the bag for something else. Okay. But I know parents, um, for Valentine's, they often give their kids stuff to kind of take to school, maybe give it to their favorite teacher. Especially, I'm talking grade school students here, and they often want like a cheap way to give something special to their teachers or make something special for the teachers. So this is what I kind of thought of. I had them in mind when I thought of this. Kind of an inexpensive way to just make something and see if you can just dump it in a bag. In which that's exactly what I might do with this case. Let's put these two together. Okay, we got one more with the Kit Kat. I might as well do that for this. Do, do, do. Okay, that overhead camera is still not on. Interesting. Okay, these are a lot more unstable, but that'll work better. Here's another plushy dog. That's a dog. Although you can't really see its eyes because it's there. See, there's one of them. You see that black dot, there's the other one. Can't really see the eyes, but it is a dog. I'll put the dog in. But let's see if this will work. Okay, it'll work. I'm just gonna have to figure out something to counterbalance the weight on everything, but otherwise, it'll work. I don't know if I'm really liking it, but it works. And we'll put something in the back here to prop the dog up. I think I can make it work. Let's just keep going, see where it takes us. Okay. Oh no, Snickers. Yes, Snickers. Are you salivating yet? Maybe try scrunching up some tissue to put under the dog. I don't know why I didn't think of that first. Thank you. Okay, we'll lay that down for a minute. Now the dog is pink. Let's go with a, I don't have much in colors now. I want to save that lavender. Let's just do a pink then. And we shall see how this turns out. Okay, so I am going to fold it in half, diagonally, and fold it in half again. And I'm going to twist it on the bottom. We'll put it, we'll stuff it down. Stuff it all the way down, as far as I can go. And we'll see if we'll put the dog right there on top. The ears flopped over. Let's see, how does that look now? Doesn't look so great on camera, but it does look pretty good in person. Looks better in person. We'll do another tissue. Just to make it look a little more full. I'll have to kind of squash it down a lot more to match it on the front. Now the dog is getting lost in all the pink, but we're experimenting. think on this one, if I had a different color tissue or more of a different color tissue, it would look a little better. Because right now the color scheme is telling me there's a lot of pink. In which, if you guys know me as a quilter, you know I don't like matchy-matchy so much. And I guess that carries over into other crafts. So it looks a lot more full, but maybe I'll try and redo this with another color tissue paper. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you have any spray picks that might help fill in? I do, actually. Let's see. I didn't use these roses. I could, let's see how the roses would look if I put maybe a few of them. And I still have, well, although these hearts are kind of short, I still have those. Let's see. What am I hitting? Mm, 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 mm. Okay. Come on. She looks like a drag queen with the headdress on. Although the headdress is all roses. Okay, let me put a few more chocolates on there as well, because I think for me, what bothers me most about this particular one is just the fact that there's not a hunt. It's all pink. So when I add the roses in there, yeah, I can definitely see that's the problem that was bothering me with it most. So let me see what this does. If I just have some pops of red going in. Or even pops of the lavender. I just want to use more of the candies too. Okay, that red just sank right down in the bottom. Let me put it up in the front here if I can poke it through. There. I could even give me something that is not. Oh, here. something that is not pink or red, someone's favorite. Mine. So that you can actually see other colors in there. We'll put one on this side. Okay. Somehow this space needs to be filled in a little more. Put another one. Put one between his paws so it looks like he's holding it. Can I do? Well, it'll also prop him up, so that's a great idea. Thank you for that one. There. Or maybe I could do that with, there's another one. Let's see if this will work too. Maybe this will work. Trying to see if I can get multiple pieces of candy in there, because this one Snickers looks a little lonely. And it just fell off. Okay, forget that idea. Well, you can't really see the Snickers, so maybe if I prop in more, a little more, just to kind of tuck it in there. I hope I'm not, like, I'm poking stuff in there, kind of feeling my way around, but I'm hoping, I know it's not reaching the fluorofoam on the bottom, but I hope that it's just secure enough to hold. Not bad. What would I do differently next time around? If I do this again, I would definitely use a different color tissue, or make sure that the colors are a little bit more, as we would call it, scrappy in quilting. But this was a good experiment. I think I am gonna just give this, or maybe use this as an example, but it's not a total loss. I do kind of like it. I just would do it differently now that I know what I know. We definitely do need to find something heavy though to put in the bag, because like this will keel over in no time. It is getting a bit top heavy, yeah. So I would maybe actually put something in the bag other than just the fluorofoam. Put something heavy in the bag, maybe even just a bag of M&Ms. But I need to fill up that back a little more. So do we have We got more Hershey's. I didn't realize there was that many Kit Kats in here, in that one bag. There is the Hershey's. There is also more Snickers. This is the regular Snickers. That's the almond. The white one is the almond Snickers. This is regular Snickers. I do have that. So let's chew some of these up. Now, normally when I do this, I have like all of this stuff kind of prepped. Like all the candies are all put on skewers, and I'm usually just arranging stuff. Okay. And if you haven't guessed it, most of this stuff most of these items, I did purchase it at the Dollar Tree. Even these plushies, I call them plushies. I know they're stuffed animals or stuffed dolls, but they also came from the Dollar Tree. Um, Dollar Tree is getting kind of expensive too these days, because some of these bags of candies were not $1. They were not even $1.25. They were $1.50. So when I did some comparison shopping yesterday, um, I was at Walmart, and Walmart's getting a little bit more competitive, partially because of the fact that Dollar Tree is getting more expensive, but sometimes it's worth it to just check out Walmart's prices and compare. Well, that is if you live in the US. Okay. Started off as an experiment, turned out pretty good. I might, what would I do differently? Again, use or be more aware of my color schematic here, because the dog without the roses and the red just kind of got lost in all of that pink tissue paper. So I would definitely be more cautious about what colors I'm using or the color schematic. But once I started adding like the reds, the browns for the chocolates and all of that, it's starting to look a lot better. I would also choose, I did need the floral foam, but I would probably put something heavier in there, maybe like a glass mason jar, um, in which that case I might not even need the floral foam, because you can just kind of stick everything in the mason jar, or kind of arrange it in the mason jar and then put the jar in the bag to arrange stuff. I don't know. But this was a good experiment. Taught me a lot. Or I could have actually just got a different color plushie and just maybe used like this brown, which would have been better. But this is a dog, and I don't know what that, well, I know it's supposed to be a teddy bear, but doesn't exactly quite look like a teddy bear. Could you put a drink of some sort in as a weight, a fancy locally made soda or something? Yes, you definitely could. Um, in fact, even a soda, mason jar, even just a bag of candy itself, like maybe not these candies, but like a bag of M&Ms of some sort. Um, I'm also thinking like if I had a uh, like let's see, something where you can kind of poke it, but not have it be so, like even a block of chocolate I think might work. If I had some heavy block of chocolate here and just use that, wrapped it of course in some kind of protective plastic coating, I could have used that. And then um, even a coffee mug, if I bought an extra coffee mug that I was not planning on using to make a bouquet, I could have used that. Just be creative with it. Something with something of substantial weight, because this is very top heavy. But um, even the marbles that you can buy in the gardening section at the Dollar Tree, that would have worked. And I need more barbecue skewers anyway, so I'll have to buy some more. Jeez. Can of soda. If you had like even maybe even like a package of cookies, just put in a Ziploc bag just to hold it down, that would have worked, I think. Okay, I need something right here. Whoops. There. Well, it's flopping over. There. Okay. Yep. So this will get to someone, not to that very special someone, but it'll be either used as an example or um, and I'll just give it away to somebody good enough to get one of these, but not great enough to be like very special. Let's just put it that way. All right, guys. So I'm gonna continue making these. We'll have. I'll probably I know I will definitely post pictures on finished ones um, later, but I am gonna call this a live, and we shall see you uh, in a couple of weeks or so. Okay, that is it for this live session. Hope to see you guys in a future live session. Any last minute questions? Thank you guys for all your suggestions. Again, don't forget that there is a Zoom coming up today as well as later on this month. So yeah, we will definitely have fun on that. But if there is no more questions, then all right, I shall see you guys later. And until then, let's all get out there. Let's all create something. Mwah. Bye for now.